Hey there, friends. Day 171, the evening program. I am going to be doing 150, maybe a few more. Maybe we'll get up to 200 swings today. It feels like a 20-minute program tonight, maybe even 30 minutes if I'm in the mood for it. And thanks for dropping by and joining. Before we get started, I thought I might just address me and my body. Because I'm in my 40s and I work out now apparently twice a day. I go running twice a week, HIIT interval sprints, VO2 max long duration, 45 minutes to an hour. I train with kettlebells, I do pull-ups, push-ups at the gym. I'm going to start doing that again now that my hernia seems to be mostly or completely healed. And I sometimes wonder, am I normal after putting in all this effort and all this time and all this energy and all this education? And all this sweat, is my body normal? Well, I think it's the wrong question, right? But it pops up once in a while, like, do I look like the ideal? I don't know. Hitting 40 put a lot of things in perspective. Given the fact that I'm married to a wonderful woman, I have two wonderful kids, and I've had a pretty amazing life as a bachelor, and now for the last 8 years as a married man. And actually, I've never looked like a fitness influencer, and I hope that I never do. To be honest, I mean, they look great. If you can be that leaned out and that muscular and have so much tone, you're almost like a bodybuilder. And I think one of the reasons this is so prevalent, and I read this in a book the other day called Easy Strength by Dan John, who has a very interesting podcast about training with kettlebells, but in general strength training, where he said, well, it seems that nowadays the first introduction anyone gets to strength training and conditioning is a bodybuilder program. And I thought about my first encounter at the gym when I was 16. Actually, I saw some people work out in the gym way before that. But it is really true, right? When I started training, it was bench presses, pecs, build a big chest, build the big shoulders, build big legs, slim down around your waist, lose that fat. That's what it's been about for the last 22 years for me, and probably it's been about that for a lot longer for a lot of people, and maybe it's time we reconsider that. The funny thing about working with kettlebells, for example, is that I learned that it will not give you a slim waist. You'll get toned, you'll get fit, you'll get strong, but it's going to give you more of an ancient Greek physique like you see in the statues, because by working your abdomen with the weights pulling you in different directions and loading your abs for counterbalancing, you're actually building very strong obliques, and that's going to push your abdomen out. So if you look at the classical Greek torso and figures, their chests aren't as big as our friend Arnold Schwarzenegger's were. By the way, was an impressive bodybuilder in all of his own rights, did amazing things. So I'm not bashing one or the other. I'm just saying maybe there are more body types that we can consider that are aesthetically pleasing, and generally, right, do looks really matter, especially for me in my 40s. No, not anymore. What matters is my fitness and my ability to stay active and be self-sufficient throughout the rest of my life. And someone just dropped by to say hi, so I'm going to say hi back. Hello, Dylan. Thanks for dropping by and saying hi. I appreciate that. I'm Toby. It's nice to see you here. I think it's the first time that I see your name pop up in the chat. Is it morning or evening where you're at? Are you starting your day, ending your day? I'm at the end of my day. It's 8:20 and I'm going to do a little workout before I go to sleep. I was just chatting about my skewed body image. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you very much. Very polite. I'm sure a couple of more people might show up. Usually about 60 or 70 people end up here in the chat. Chatting to me helps, by the way, and any encouragement is very welcome. I was just talking about my body image for the people who watch these videos later. I was just saying that, looks probably don't really matter. Do I have a normal body? I don't know. I work out a lot. I eat normal. And this is what it looks like. It's not like I am ripped or have the body of a fitness influencer, nor do I think I need to have it to do the things that I want to do, to go out on adventures and live life with my family, with my two kids. So just, keep that in mind. Normal is you and me, and way more people look the way we do than we maybe think or realize if we spend too much time scrolling through our feeds on whatever social media we're using, in this case, YouTube. So that being said, like I always say, we're good just the way we are. We've got to love ourselves before we can move on. And the only way to get anything done is by showing up and doing the work. So I'm going to just check your messages, Dylan, and then I'm going to get started with my warm-up. Next one for me, that's true. What did we do? I'm assuming you're referring to what I was talking about before. Thanks. I'm glad it resonates. We should just be happy with who we are, and that is going to be good enough for everything that we want to do in life, because looks are fleeting, but our character and personalities, those leave an impression that might last a lifetime. Not saying there's anything wrong with wanting to look a certain way, just saying don't make it the end all of all of your training endeavors, because there's so much more out there to be had. Right, I'm going to start off with some stretches, and once I'm done stretching, I'm going to just dive right into the 200 kettlebell session of tonight. 16 kilos for the swings. Thanks for dropping by, Dylan. I really appreciate that. I'm just going to check the last message you sent, and then I'm going to get started. And if you want to send me like a thumbs up or some flames because you think the workout's going really well, I'd really appreciate any encouragement and feedback, because this is the 8th day that I'm doing swings in the evening, and I can tell you, at 40, that's quite the experience. So, and maybe you can tell me what you're up to this evening or this morning, depending on where you are in the world. You can also see, by the way, I have a 20 kilo kettlebell right behind me that I will probably start using in the next 90 days as my strength with the 16 improves. There's no need to rush anything with kettlebells. The nice thing about kettlebells is that you can take things at your own pace, which is exactly what we want to be doing anyway. I'm going to come over and check your messages in a moment. I'm done with this stretch. I'm curious what you're asking me or talking about. And thanks for dropping by and for being so talkative. That's a lot of fun. Do you work out yourself? Do you do any sports? Team sports, fitness, rugby, tennis, lacrosse, ice hockey, speed skating, cycling? There are all kinds of cool sports out there. Or is it weightlifting? Maybe Olympic lifting? Let me know. It's always nice to hear what people are up to. Inspires me to learn something about fitness. Sports. Thanks. You're a welder. You do quite a lot of physical labor, and I understand that. And actually, swinging a kettlebell or doing any kind of sports at the end of the day might not be your thing. It's a very respectable profession, by the way. We need good welders, people who can actually build and make things in the world we live in. So thanks for sharing that with me. That's interesting. And he said something about I doing plank. It's actually called the world's greatest stretch after a walkout. Not sure why they call it the world's greatest stretch, but that's what they call it. And thanks for the like. I appreciate that. And thanks for having dropped by. I also appreciate that. And you have a good day or a good night. And continue building great things. Sometimes I wish I could do that. I'd like to do some halos next. And then we're going to get started. swings. That's going to be a lot of fun. Halo's not so heavy with an 8 kilo. One side to the other. Oh, hello there. Thanks for dropping by. I'll come and say hi in a moment. Just getting warmed up for today's kettlebell swings session. I'm working on a program for kettlebells for beginners, by the way, as I am also a certified kettlebell trainer. And I'm putting together a 60-day kettlebell program with a lightweight to build some of the fundamentals, which I think is going to be a lot of fun. So stay tuned, and if you're interested in anything like that, subscribe to my channel so that when it comes out, you'll get the benefit of it. It's going to be a program with some tutorials, and then a whole bunch of kettlebelling and walking. While I wait for the minute to start, we're going to start the session. Hey, Josie. Thanks. Yeah, 400. It's quite a thing, huh? Thanks for dropping by. I hope the basement's all right, and that you've been sleeping well, and that you're able to keep up with all of your practice. I've got 30 seconds there, so let me just check in with you, because I love the fact that you're back again. You're doing all right. How's your day been, or your evening? It's middle of the day where you're at right now, I think stateside, right? It's evening here. I'm going to do the swings, and then I'm going to head off to bed because I've got an early morning strength session again. All right. First set of 10. Talking about whether or not I'm normal or not before the stream started, like reaching a point in my life where it's not really about looks, but sometimes it is about looks because of everything that you see online, and we do tend to compare ourselves. So I mentioned to a friend of mine at work, I said, "Oh, I'm a bit of a chubster." She started laughing. She's like, "Dude, give yourself a break. You exercise so much, and you eat so well, does it really matter?" And I think she had a really good point, right? Because the standard we hold ourselves to only becomes ridiculous when we try to hold other people to it. And in fact, 7, 8, 9, 9, 10, 20. And in fact, health and fitness is super personal, if you think about it, right? Everything you do, every program you build, every decision you make about your nutrition, decisions you make about how you sleep, how you spend your time, they're all very much dependent on the full context of your life. So I can sit here beating myself up when I compare myself to people I see on the internet and the decisions they've made. But there's no point, because maybe if they made the same decisions I made, we'd be having the conversation in reverse. Nothing's good or bad. Everybody's just on their own place on this journey of health and fitness. And the goals I had when I was 20 or 16, very different. I was 30, by the way, from the goals I have now that I've turned 40. But they're still goals. We're still pursuing them. With good technique and a lot of patience, because only now I realize I have a lifetime to pursue them in. Good master. Thank you. You made my evening by giving me that compliment. I appreciate that. Going on to 40. By the way, never in my life has it happened that I've swooned anyone by the mere good graces of my incredible good looks. There's always been wit, conversation, and humor involved, one way or another. So I think if you're in your late teens or 20s, don't worry about it too much. Just put on a smile and get good at telling jokes, or have interesting stories, or do something interesting with your life. Because if you do interesting things, you become an interesting person. Doesn't really matter what you do. As long as you're doing something, like swinging a kettlebell, or have an interesting career, or read a lot of interesting books, or paint, or run marathons, or help people who need help. There's so many different things that you could do that would make you interesting. And that looks don't really matter. Anyway. Besides, we tend to wear clothes I realized a bit too late in life. Most of the time. So, you know, nobody really notices. Anyway, 60. But that's just my take on it. Like I always say, we're good just the way we are. We've got to love ourselves before we can move on. And the only way to get anything done is by showing up and doing the work, which is why I'm here at 8:36 in the evening for the set that's going to bring me up to 70 swings tonight. By the way, I went for the most awesome run this morning. Well, the most awesome, but was a good run. Only for superlatives in every aspect of my life. I did my Turkish get-ups, 10 and 10 with the 8 kilo because shoulders, they need to grow stronger over time, and they are actually growing stronger and better. And then 3/4 into my run through the forest, I run into a deer. And they stop and we stare at each other like 5 meters apart, maybe. Going for the 80th swing in a moment. It was just such a golden moment at the crack of dawn. You only get those moments when you arrange your life in a way that you might have those chance encounters. But then again, I went running at 5:30 a week ago, and then a whole bunch of people coming back from parties and having been out all night or still sitting in their gardens and living rooms, finishing those late night conversations that I also had and that shaped me in my 20s. I think everyone should have that experience also. So, different life stages. Different life stages, 90, will lead to different experiences and different moments for training and different types of training, and that's completely fine. But I think we do need to reconsider what our starting point is for general athleticism, strength and conditioning, and maybe it doesn't need to be 10 minutes or 20 minutes on the treadmill, bench presses and squats and deadlifts with barbell or on a machine. Going for it. 100. $90. Let's call that 90. There's no harm in doing 10 extra on a night like tonight. Anyway, what are you up to Saturday? Is it Saturday night? No, it's Sunday night. You're off to work tomorrow, campus, college, school, work. Though looks like I might have to take the day off to take care of one of my children who's a bit under the weather. That happens, and that's completely fine. That's 100. It's going to be a busy week, but I will be doing my morning routines and my evening swings. So, we're going to get there one way or another. Because keeping commitments to myself, I learned only in my early 30s, is actually the single most easiest way to a more happier and fulfilled life. But we don't realize that often enough. 110. Where is my heart rate at? Still in the green zone. Zone 3, very acceptable. So you might not be able to see just how fit someone's cardiovascular system is. You might not be able to see how fit someone's cardiovascular system is just by looking at them. So, try not to make too many assumptions about the people you see on the street. And besides, because we're not thinking about yourself, the focus of health and fitness should be on us, not on them. So we take care of ourselves. Maybe sometimes we inspire other people to take better care of themselves. Also, I think that's the least we can do for each other, especially nowadays. I don't know, that's just me thinking. What do you think? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Maybe you have some thoughts on this, maybe not. Maybe you just want to say hi and leave a comment or some hearts, some likes. Or watch a couple of my videos. I'm going to make a couple of tutorials for my basic program. Thinking about calling it the Dutch Kettlebell Challenge, where we have to do some kettlebells swings. I'm just joking, but it's going to be a fun introductory program. So that's what I'm working on in my spare time. It's creating a cool fundamental kettlebell program. Does everything with 2 hands, 2-handed deadlift, 2-handed snatch, goblet squat, 2-handed overhead press. So we can start to combine those after about 60 days and lift heavier weights. That was 130, we're going to 140. I hope that more people will find the kettlebells through that program and might find that program useful and interesting for their lives. And if you're interested in the program, it's only going to take a month or so to develop. The first 30 days, but it'll be out, so subscribe, and then you'll get a notification when it goes live. Obviously, we'll celebrate it. 150. I'm going to 160 in a moment. And we're almost done with today. It's nice to be able to swing 16 kilo kettlebell with good technique, feeling confident. So often when I started off doing this 6-7 months ago, January, couldn't swing a 12 kilo kettlebell properly 3 times. And here we are. And 60. You know, I just realized that not only do I want to get to 500 subscribers, but apparently I also need to get to like 3,000 hours of watch time with my long form content. That's quite a challenge, I can tell you. So, if you want to go ahead and help me out, go ahead and take a look at some of my longer form content. They're not that long, but there might be something of interest for you there if you're into kettlebells. Let me just go over and say hi to the people just dropping by. Chiefs, good to see you again. Thanks for dropping by this evening. How's life over in the UK? Jigozi, it's going to be done probably in about a month. Very basic. I think I have a short with the same flow coming out the day after tomorrow, but I want to get it right because it's a progressive program that builds a lot of volume over 60 days to make you strong and durable with a light weight, so that we have a good foundation in the techniques to get to the heavier weights. So it's worth taking a look at if you have no experience with kettlebells. It's 7 p.m. It's going on 9 p.m. You're sure it's 7 p.m. Are you okay? Sure it's not 7:50. Going on 8. Maybe the clock needs to be reset. Or maybe mine's an hour ahead, which means I get an extra hour of sleep tonight. That would also be very nice. How are you doing over there in the UK, by the way? Ooh, 180. Ooh-wee. I'm going to get to 190 in a moment. It's 150. Let's see. The afternoon. No, you're not. Not at all, man. I mean, sometimes we just look at the first 2 digits. Sometimes we do silly things, but that doesn't make us silly, or we do stupid things, but it doesn't make us stupid. Remember, we're all human beings. Right? So don't be too hard on ourselves about fitness. Let's not be too hard on ourselves about how our minds work either. Think that's fair? Do you think that's fair? 190. Thanks, jeez. Hopefully I'll get to the million with your help. Thanks for dropping by for a fun chat. Appreciate that. And if you want to help me out, go ahead and like and leave a comment under a couple of my shorts and give them that extra boost maybe. Well, maybe one day we'll get there. I'll settle for 500. Final 10. Look at that. We are done. And that was 30 minutes on the clock. That was a good time. Thanks for dropping by. Jacozy, how's your basement doing? Did that get resolved, by the way? You and your family doing all right wherever you're living? Thank you very much. I'm very happy that we got this done today, and we're going to get more done tomorrow. Hey, you all take care of yourselves. Thanks for dropping by. Let's see, it was a good workout and a good outcome. Jagozi, Dylan, Finn, Chiefs, I appreciate you all dropping in and keeping me company while I do my workout. It's made it all the more fun tonight, so thanks for that. And they're doing the demolition right now. Good. Stay out of the way of the hard hats, let them do their job, and keep yourself fit and safe for whatever training or practice you have this evening or tomorrow morning, all right? Take care of yourself. Remember, we're good, just the way we are. We've got to love ourselves before we can move on. And the only way to get anything done is by showing up and doing the work. So I'll see you tomorrow.